Here we go. All right, so this is introductory statistics. Yay! Okay, so this is my favorite class. When I took this class as an undergraduate student, it changed my life. I did not take this exact class, obviously, because I'm teaching this one. But when I took introductory statistics, it did literally change my life. I was an engineering major at the time. I finished my undergraduate degree in engineering, but then I decided to come back to grad school. I pursued and completed my PhD in statistics, and I'm choosing as a career to teach statistics, okay? So I really like it. I hope you guys can at least gain an appreciation for the subject. You know, it is statistics, and so certain parts will not be exciting, certain parts will be a little bit painful, but I hope I can guide you guys through it in the least painful way, and that you will gain an appreciation for what this class is all about, okay? So, I heart statistics, yay, all right. So this is my goal for each one of you. All right, so what is statistics? What is statistics all about? We'll start with there. Statistics all about. So why do we bother studying statistics? Okay. Okay, well, I would say we study statistics to gain a better understanding of the world around us. In particular, statistics allow us to make conclusions from limited data. All right, so I'm going to just pause. I want to make sure everybody can read the screen okay. Those of you in the back, give me a thumbs up. Okay, you can read the screen okay. You guys can take notes. I don't know how to make it any bigger than filling up the whole thing. I mean, my screen is 16 by 9, so I can't fill it vertically. I realize there's bars on the side, but I think that's a limitation of the technology here. You can move forward a few rows. All right, and I highly recommend that, okay? I recommend that to everybody. The least favorite position for the students to be in is that back row against the windows. You are free to sit wherever you want, but I highly recommend moving forward. There's no reason to sit back there, okay? Much better, right? Yes, okay, see? Everybody agrees, all right? Not everybody, but 2 out of 2 people so far who've moved from the back to the front have said it's much better up here. And I would agree. All right, so statistics allow us to make conclusions from limited data we study to gain a better understanding of the world around us. All right, and I would say the whole reason why you go to college, the whole reason why you study any subject is to gain a better understanding of the world around you, okay? By going to school, by taking classes, you understand things, okay? You take history, you understand the past, so in the future, we don't make the same mistakes as a society, although maybe we haven't quite learned that lesson. You know, we take economics to understand how money works. You know, you take all of these other courses to gain a better understanding of the world and people and things of that nature, okay? Statistics allow us to make conclusions from limited data. All right, so what do I mean by that? Okay. Let's say you have a question. Let's say we have a question. We have a research question. we have a research question, okay? And let's say that question is whatever it might be, okay? How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop? Is that question even relevant to you guys, or was this is yes, no, no? You guys, did they ask this question on TV when you were a kid? Yes? 3 of you? Okay. All right. All right. So how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? All right, so for those of you who are international and have no idea what I'm talking about, okay, there is a candy that they sell, and let's see what we can find. Tootsie Roll Pop. This is very important that we're spending class time doing this. Okay, this is what it looks like. All right. Oh gosh, come on, better picture, Google. All right, this is what they look like. All right, they look like this. That's a terrible picture. This is a much better one. Okay, and so it's this thing of candy, and oh yeah, look. That is what we want. Okay, and this is hard candy on the outside, and you lick it, and suddenly there's this soft, chewy thing that tastes like chocolate on the inside. And as a kid, you're like super excited. Except on Halloween, like they're like, oh, it's not sealed and it might be poisoned, but whatever. Okay, keep recording. So they're never poison candy is rarely an issue. Okay, so how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? How should we answer this question? How can we answer this? All right, let's say this is what we want to know. All right, now in the commercial, the kid went to an owl and the owl went 1, 2, 3, and he ate the whole thing, and he's like, 3 is the answer, but Mr. Owl, that was a terrible way to answer the question. So, how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? How can we answer this question? Okay? Any ideas? Well, the answer is going to be it's going to be a bit of work here. Okay? We would run an experiment. Okay? We would run an experiment to gather data. And we would want to try to control, in order for our data to be meaningful and reliable, we want to try to control for as many aspects of variation as we can, okay? Try to control as many aspects of variation as possible, okay? So what does that mean? Control the aspects of variation. Any idea what that means?
Kind of getting rid of the wild cards?
Yeah, getting rid of wild cards, all right? So we don't want, when we're asking people to count how many licks it takes to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop, we want them to be taking their licks in a consistent manner, okay? We want to say, all right, if you're going to take a lick, don't swirl it around and just leave it in your mouth and say that's one lick, versus someone else who, like an ice cream, treats it like an ice cream cone and does a proper, I don't know, swipe of the tongue or something, whatever we want to call it. We want to have, we want a good definition of what is a lick, okay? So things like, we want things to be consistent, okay? So control the aspects of variation. That means we want consistency where possible. So probably that means define what is a lick. Okay? And we would want to gather as much data as possible. And probably this means we'll need multiple participants, multiple people. And each person has licks multiple Tootsie Roll Pops, okay? Okay. And we'd probably have to gather data at least like this, okay? Now, maybe you find 20 people to volunteer. You all tell them, give them instructions on how to lick a Tootsie Roll Pop, and you say, this is what a lick looks like. And you have each of these 20 people lick maybe 3 Tootsie Roll Pops and have them count until they get to the center. And you gather data. So you get, what, 60 points of data that way, okay? Now, do you think if you take the average of those 60 points, that would be a reasonable answer to the question, how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? So let's say we have 20 people. And 3 suckers each. Okay? And so we have 60 Tootsie Roll Pops, and each one we count how many licks to the center for each one. Excuse me, my nose is tripping a little bit. I don't have.
So 20 people with each 3 Tootsie Rolls for each person.
Yeah.
60 rolls in total.
60 rolls in total, exactly. Okay. Now I would argue this would give us a reasonable estimate for the answer to the question, how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? Okay. Is everybody's following what's going on so far?
Yep.
Okay. Good. So let me copy that. Let's save this. Let's put this up here, okay?
Can you go back to the 1 second?
Sure. Okay, so this question, how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? This is what we're going for, is we're trying to answer this question about something called the population, okay? We want kind of a quote-unquote definitive answer here, all right? So how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? The best answer we can come up with, okay? The answer here, the best answer would be the average number of licks to the center, right? To the center, okay? And this is the average of what? The average number of licks to the center. When we're talking about an average, we're asking the average of what? Average means you're taking the average of several numbers or many numbers. What are we taking the average of here? But how, of what? The 60 pops or of what? What are we going for? Okay, so here we have something. Okay, to get the true answer that we have this. This is really a hypothetical question. Okay, we cannot answer this directly because we have something called the population, and this is every single Tootsie Pop ever. Okay, Okay, this is this mysterious thing. Okay, every single Tootsie Pop ever defines our population. And if you think of every single Tootsie Pop ever, every single Tootsie Pop, okay, you've got, you know, here's a Tootsie Pop. And this Tootsie Pop has some number, okay, that we don't know. Maybe it's like 33, okay? This is how many licks it takes to get to the center of this Tootsie Pop, okay? And over here is another Tootsie Pop, okay? And again, there's an unknown number, and maybe this one takes 30 or something, okay? Population would be every single Tootsie Pop ever, and every single person ever, really, okay? Because each person might have a different number, okay? So if you give this Tootsie Pop to some person, it might take him 33 licks. If you give this Tootsie Pop to a different person, it might take her 30 licks, okay? There's no way to know exactly all the combinations of every possible Tootsie Pop and every single person, okay? But that's what we want to know. How many licks to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop? We want to know, hypothetically, if we could figure out how many licks, you know, this person takes and this person takes and this person takes for every single possible Tootsie Pop that they might encounter, that would be the average number, okay? So I'm going to just write, there is no way we can record every single person and every single Tootsie Pop to get how many licks it would take. Because that's the only way to get the true average. The true average requires all the numbers, okay? The true average requires all of the numbers. And we can't get that number because we don't have all the numbers. We don't have that info. Okay, so instead we settle on a sample. And in our case, it's 20 people and 3 Tootsie Pops each, for a total of 60, 60 trials or combinations. Okay, but statistics allows us to take these 60 combinations and say this is going to provide an estimate about the population, which includes every single Tootsie Pop ever and every single person, technically ever. All right. Allow us to estimate an answer based on this limited data alone. So let's just recap what's going on here. I'll let you guys finish writing this. What our research question was, how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? The population, the number that we're trying to go for is the average number of licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop, and this is the average between all persons who might lick a Tootsie Pop and every possible Tootsie Pop that somebody might have, okay? So that it's a tremendous number, possibly infinite, that we have to encounter here, okay? That is our population. Every single person ever, every single Tootsie Pop ever. The sample that we have is 20 people, 30 Tootsie Pops each, for a total of 60 combos, because this is our research question. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's try a couple examples here. And you might see a question, or you will see questions similar to this on the quiz next week, okay? So start this in your notes. So let's say our research question, we have what is the average number of hours spent on homework per day for high school students? Okay. So let's say this is our research question, okay? And so to answer this, we, so our data is we randomly sample or randomly survey 80 high school students. And record how long they spend on homework. All right, what is the population? What is the population in this situation? What? Okay, so did we? What is the population in general? What did I say a population was? It's every single person, because when we answer the average, we're talking about everything that we could possibly want. So, in our case, is it? In our case, the population would be what? The population is every single high school student, okay? All the population all high school students, okay? So maybe we need to define, is this all high school students globally, all high school students in the United States? We might have to define that better, okay? So maybe we have to write in the USA. Okay, so maybe we'll say all high school students in the USA. That would be our population. This is everybody, okay? Everybody who is relevant to this question is our population. And our sample would be the 80 students we selected. Okay?